So there's, if you can think about the one mistake you made financially as a rookie, like what is that quintessential moment you wish you could do over, and or what's the difference between making money, which you made as when you signed that contract, to building wealth?
So, I really didn't understand from a financial standpoint how things were working or how things were going until I got hurt as a football player.
Gotcha.
As players, we come into the league and we think that, we're all going to be afforded these long careers, especially in my situation, being a first round pick. I was a first round pick. Usually first round picks are the guys that go on to get the next contract and the next contract, as long as you play well. Well, I ran into a situation where I tore my ACL in my right knee in 2009, 10, and 11.
Wow.
So 3 consecutive years I tore my ACL. And at that point, as a young person, I was still like 26, 27 years old. And I'm looking at this possibly being the end of my career, end of my earning ability in the NFL. And you look back and you think about how well have you saved your money? How good have you done with putting things away, making sure that you have money that you can live off of, that you don't, if you can't work again, that you don't have to work again.
Right.
And I hadn't put myself in that position because, when I got into the NFL, I felt like I was obligated to go back and take care of my whole neighborhood, to take care of my family. It's just the mindset that you have when you grow up the way that I grew up with, in the struggle, and you feel like I made it. God put me in this place so that I can give back, so that I can help. And, it really—
But there's not enough money to go around.
There never is. You're never going to fix all of the problems. And in turn, what I learned is you create more problems for people by throwing money at them. And then once you sit back and you go through your portfolio with your financial advisor, because you start to feel like, hey, if football ended today, like, where am I?
Yeah.
And once I sat down and kind of did those evaluations, I learned that I had to make some changes.
Yeah.
Not really knowing whether I was going to get to play again, but I knew at that very moment, I had to change the way that I was spending, the way that I was giving, and the things that I was doing financially, if I wanted to sustain and not become one of the statistics that we hear about of guys that 2 to 3 years out of the league that are broke, divorced, or, just in financial ruins.
Yeah, 70% of all NFL players are likely to file bankruptcy 5 years after retirement. They're brilliant on the field, but it's what they don't know that's killing them in the business suite, in the bank account office, in the accounting office. They're not focused on that. And to your point, you learned a really valuable lesson that if you hang around 9 broke people, you'll be the 10th.
Absolutely.
and they can't help you when you get in trouble, and may not even have an interest in it. You're their savior, not the other way around.
No question.
So what you've learned, this incredible lesson that I had to learn also, that we got to teach our people how to fish. We just can't give folks fish. I mean, it's compassionate. If somebody can't do for themselves, look, hey, let me hook you up. But we got to teach people how to fish at scale. Right. And isn't that why you're passionate about financial literacy? Teaching people how to fish?
That's absolutely why I'm passionate about it. Because, coming into the league as a young rookie and not really being around anyone that had made any kind of significant money, I didn't even understand how taxes work. So you come in and you sign for a certain amount, and then you get your check and it's cut in half. Well, a mistake that I see a lot of the young guys that I've seen come into this league, you see guys make a certain amount of money and they spend that amount of money, not realizing that half of that money is going to be gone. So instantly now you put yourself in debt, not really understanding how that works. So I think with financial literacy, that's one of the things, taxes is a huge part of life. And it is that way now. It's going to be that way until we're gone. And I think that's something with financial literacy that kids need to understand and know, that taxes are always going to be a part of this world, and you always got to pay them. And you always got to make sure that you're factoring that into your income.
So one, you got to pay. The one lesson I've heard from you is, when you get paid $1, you didn't get paid $1. you probably got paid like more like 65 cents.
Yeah, more like 60 cents in our
60
world.
cents. Yeah, and then on top of that, now you got the bling tax. You hooked up your boys with some gold change. You hooked up your mother. You hooked up your neighborhoods. I don't know. That's 15%, 20%. And then you would have got yourself some toys. You know, that's another 20%. Then you may have bought a house. I mean,
You bought your house, you bought your mom's house, and hey, you trying to help your auntie here. You try like it goes fast. It goes fast, and I think as the years go on, people continue to look at the number. They look at the number of what you signed for, because our contracts, for whatever reason, they're always public knowledge. They put it out there for the world to see. They put it out there for everybody to see. And
that's interesting.
All people
that's your private contract. I hadn't thought about that. It's your private business.
It is. You don't see all these Fortune 500 companies, like these CEOs. You don't know how much money they're making. You don't see that. You don't see they being advertised all the time. But for us, it's a click of a button on the internet, and you can pull up exactly what we make, when we're gonna make it, how we're gonna make it. And people only see the number that we're making. Nobody ever factor in, like, we got to pay taxes, we got to pay agent fees, like we got all of these things that we're responsible for. And whenever you get called on, you're expected to have it, no matter what the situation is. Nobody really cares about your kids. Nobody really cares about college tuition. Nobody cares about any of that stuff other than their own needs. And if you are a person like myself that really cares about helping people, it can eat at you. It can bother you. You can have you can have sleepless nights really thinking about, you know, did I do the right thing by not helping such and such, or did I do the right thing by giving this or by not giving this? Like those things really eat at you, and they keep you up at night in making decisions when it comes to finances. But I think the smart man makes the smart decision, and this decision that you make is usually the right one.
With all that you've done, when did you figure out how important your credit score was?
Man, you know what? It took me a little while to figure out how important the credit score was, because when being an NFL player, being a guy that, you know, kind of looked at it, you know, patting my chest, I can buy it. I just go buy it.
Right.
And that was kind of the way I went about things. You know, when I wanted a new car, I would just go buy the car. When I wanted like this, when I wanted that, cash, paying for it. So you learn once you got money, you got money in the bank, and you can't go get a credit card because you don't have any credit. Like, you never established any credit. And I'm like, why y'all? I got money in the bank. Y'all can see that. But it's like, yeah, we don't have no proof that if you borrow money from us that you're going to pay us back. You don't have a history of that. You don't have a history of making payments on your cars. You don't have a history of making house payments. Like, we just don't know. And like, that is like, not having any credit is just as bad as having bad credit, is one of the things that I had to learn growing up. And, you know, now, you know, as the years have gone, you know, I've done a pretty good job. I'm sitting at around 750 on my credit score. So still trying to get better with that.
So I think you're a great role model, man. I'm so glad I met you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Peace and light, man. God bless you, brother.
Same to you. You have a great night.